All right, little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson is really having some difficulties in the house because all he wants to do, Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, is while at work, kiss the ass of Donald Trump. And at night, according to Elon Musk's free speech website, he likes to go eat ass on Grindr. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but Elon Musk sure does promote his website quite a bit. And the Grindr allegations have never been community noted. So I just want to point that out. So he's having a lot of problems with MAGA women because they're finding out that when you join a misogynist party, they don't care about women's rights, kind of like the Latinos for Trump are finding out. When you join a party at their convention, they have giant signs everywhere that says mass deportations now, that they're not fucking around about that. And those mass deportations could be you. So the New York Times has some breaking news here. Pop this up, Kylie. Republican anger erupts at Moses Mike Grinder Johnson. It doesn't say that in the New York Times, but I wish it did. As party frets about future. And here's a little excerpt from it. Nancy Mace has told people she is so frustrated with Johnson and sick of the way he has run the House, particularly how women are treated there, that she is planning to huddle with Marjorie Taylor Greene next week to discuss following her lead and retiring early. And so here's the part where there's this is the beginning of the evolution. So like Marjorie Taylor Greene a couple of weeks ago pumped, she goes on this big rebranding tour, right? She does The View, she does mainstream news, and she even alludes to that she was like radicalized online into QAnon and that it was a cult. And then Donald Trump talks about the auto pen pardons, and she shows exactly who she is. And Marjorie Taylor Greene immediately tweets, good, great. Now we can, convict and arrest and convict Dr. Fauci, blah, blah. Nancy Mace, I hope that this evolution continues and that you start fighting for women. But when you beat up on a marginalized group like trans people so viciously, so publicly, so cruelly, you don't seem like an advocate for human rights. And women's rights are human rights. And so when you have built your career weaponizing your gender against the women who have fought very, very hard to have autonomy and agency, and you collude with the people who are trying to deny women autonomy and agency and human rights, you're going to get fucked. And that's what's happening to the Nancy Maces, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes, et cetera.
These women act so surprised that Mike Johnson and the MAGA movement is not for women, that they don't prop up women. They have people in their party. They want women to submit to men, and they want to take away their right to vote. They spend half their time talking about how women should be home having babies, and after you have babies, you're no longer viable, i.e. childless cat ladies bullshit. So this is no shit Sherlock to me. Like, they came for you just like they came for the trans people. And I just want to say for the record, this whole MAGA movement, like trans women in sports, it is not about protecting women. Full stop. It is about marginalizing people and making a scapegoat of people. So do not sit there, Riley Gaines, and tell me you are pro-woman, because what you are is pro-me. I want what I want.
The women in sports issue is something that a culture where they can really clamor onto, but in doing that and enacting that, the whole attack makes women less safe because the next step of it is genital checks. And then who's going to check the genitals and regulate the genitals? The whole evangelical movement and all of this Bible thumping republicanism boils down to sexual control. They want control over genitalia. They're obsessed with genitalia. They're obsessed with gay people. They're obsessed with women. They're particularly in red states, as you see the hot map of where people consume trans porn. It's always in these religious red states. And I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. I'm not a religious hypocrite. If that's what you want to look at, you're a grown adult and, whatever. But this is a party of emotional, stunted, sexually repressed, Iron Age thinking idiots. And so I wish these women the best of luck, these MAGA women, as they start to realize in their evolution. We'll be here waiting. We'll be here fighting for your rights to go through the evolution that you need to go through. And more than anything, Nancy Mason, Marjorie Taylor Greene have been religiously abused, and they continue to project that abuse onto their constituents. But Elise Stefanik, so listener, let me tell you who she is. She's the lady. She's a crazy Trump thumper. She's in Congress. He was going to give her a position. He took the position away from her. So then she decides she's going to run for governor of New York. This woman has died on the Hill for Trump, not once, not twice. I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of times. And yes, she's a New Yorker. And so the hubris and the arrogance of these MAGA people, then she's like, okay, I'm going to run for governor in New York. And she is a total MAGA thumper, right? So she starts all this shit about Zoran Mamdani. She starts all this, he's a jihadist, he's a radical Muslim, he's so happy about 9/11, all of these crazy, bigoted, Islamophobic attacks on a very progressive mayor that believes in universal human rights. And so she was all in the tank playing the Trumpian playbook. And then Zoran wins. And you know who Trump likes? Elise Stefanik. He likes a winner. He likes people that win and people that are good looking and telegenic. It's that simple. There's no depth to it at all. So when Zoran arrived at the White House, Trump was getting his Bubba on, and he was glazing the fuck out of the double digit, very telegenic, very attractive, riz out the wazoo Zoran Mamdani, because he hates losers. And Elise Stefanik, your polling is so abysmal that he won't even endorse you anymore. So now she's out at sea, no buoy. Trump's not throwing her a buoy. None of the dipshits in the administration are throwing her a buoy, just like everybody who has debased themselves for this man. As soon as you are deemed invaluable, you are kicked to the curb, but she will not go without kicking and screaming. So now, Elise Stefanik, the shamed, kicked to the curb by Donald Trump, the 80-year-old pudding-eating, feces-throwing drag queen, doesn't even like her. And she's trying to lead a coup against Moses Mike Grinder Johnson. I'm here for it. I want the popcorn, juicy AF. Put this up. GOP Representative Elise Stefanik is sharing her most critical remarks of Speaker Johnson yet, arguing that he is an ineffective leader who is losing control over the GOP conference headed into the midterm elections. And she says he certainly wouldn't have the votes to be Speaker if there was. And she goes on and on. And so CJ Warnke responds, Stefanik's internals must show that there's no path to victory for her in the New York governor's race. So now she's trying to lead a coup against little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson and replace him. The Republicans are in complete disarray. So this is what happens. And you see, when you don't, in your political party or in your person, when you don't have any conviction for anything, you're so vulnerable to fall prey to all of this shit. Like, she doesn't have any conviction or anything. It's like, whatever Trump thinks, then I'm for that. Trump realizes she's a loser. Elise Stefanik pumps in the Oval. The press asked him about Elise Stefanik. He threw her under the bus while glazing Zoran, and then looked up to Zoran adoringly. And so these people don't believe in anything. There's no conviction. So now you've got Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, who believes in Grinder and kissing Trump's ass, as we all know, as he goes home to his evangelical roommate boyfriend.
Panty boy.
Who answers the door in his panties. And then he goes on psycho, fascist, white nationalist Katie Miller's podcast with his beard and his wife. And, it's just unbelievable. But I'm here for it. I love all this shit. I love these fissures.
The thing is, it just reminds me again and again, these people are not interested in governing. They're not interested in making people's lives better. They are interested in headlines and bettering themselves and proximity to power and more power themselves. When was the last time you heard Mike Johnson say anything that would actually help the American people?
That's a great point.
Never, ever.
That's why, Pumps, I always say, if I were to make a list of the number one most worthless American right now. Like it's him. Moses Mike Grinder Johnson is the most worthless American on the planet. He actually has power.
Yes.
And he is a little twerp. He's a little teeny tiny little twerp. And he refuses. And then the thing is, like, he is the biggest example of like a cultist white nationalist Christian marrying his daughter in that weird promise ring thing. And then the mega church shit. You guys, Pumps has done some reporting in the past. Tell them about his mentor.
Okay, so his mentor and his he was like professional life as an attorney. He would proudly say his mentor was going to form a law school based on biblical worldview laws, which I'm just like, okay. And so this man was going to name the law school after himself. Mike Johnson was named dean of that law school. And that person, that Mike Johnson's mentor, he proudly proclaimed, Southern Baptist Convention, he is sexually abusing underage girls. Going back to my point, this man has protected pedophiles his whole fucking adult life. It feels comfortable because he's used to it.
It's kind of baked in to the white evangelical experience. You hear about all of these Christian summer camps. There's always some creepy pedo lurking, and the churches cover up for them. The Nazarenes, the Baptist, and just go on and on and
Name
on.
one that isn't. That would be easier.
I agree, Pumps. Okay. And then I want to move along that you remember Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, Pumps, he wouldn't swear in the Arizona Congresswoman.
Right.
It's like 50 days and all the grandstanding and all that shit. Pop this up. Midas Touch is reporting just in Moses Mike Grinder Johnson. I need to call Ben Mysalis about putting Moses Mike Grinder Johnson always in the tweets. Moses Mike Grinder Johnson plans to swear in Representative-elect Matt Van Epps on Thursday, less than 2 days after he won the Tennessee 07 special election. As a reminder, it took Johnson 50 days to swear in Democratic Representative Adelita Grijalva. And then finally, I want to leave you all with this. The Republicans are throwing feces mostly at each other right now, which fantastic. And here we have Senator Rand Paul calling Pete Hegseth the murderer, the absolute cold-blooded murderer, dipshit murderer, Pete Hegseth, a liar. And I rarely agree with Senator Rand Paul, but sometimes assholes have moments of clarity. And so I want to highlight this. Play the clip.
Sense, it looks to me like they're trying to pin the blame on somebody else and not them. There's a very distinct statement was said on Sunday. Secretary Hegseth said he had no knowledge of this and it did not happen. It was fake news. It didn't happen. And then the next day from the podium with the White House, they're saying it did happen. So either he was lying to us on Sunday or he's incompetent and didn't know it had happened. Do we think there's any chance that on Sunday the Secretary of the Defense did not know there had been a second strike?
The only way that we're ever going to get out of all of this, Pumps, are these Republican fissures, because Moses Mike Grinder Johnson has completely abdicated his power. Absolutely. The Supreme Court is breathtakingly consistent and in the tank for Trump and for a dictatorship and for dismantling the Constitution and eroding civil liberties. They have been abundantly clear about that. And so when I see these fissures in the Republican Party, particularly surrounding national security, they're not going to care about human rights that much, Republicans, but they're really big about national security. And so I don't know if, they roll out Mitch McConnell on life support, who obviously I think is a total piece of shit. But some of these people are not, they understand the implications of our military and the posturing that the United States of America has. And they are seeing the capitulation and compromised nature of the MAGA administration towards places like Russia. And they're kind of really starting to speak up. And then there's a bunch of fissures below that. So let's keep an IHIP News watch on these Republican fissures, because this is the place where this lame duck, senior citizen, feces throwing, pudding eating, by the way, it's been reported he eats all of his meals in bed. That's how old he is. That we need to keep an eye on. This is the only way it's going down. All right. Buy our book. It's called Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. You know what, you guys? Buy it for yourself for Christmas or buy it for your loved ones. A great little stocking stuffer. And it's a great way to support Pumps and me. Also, subscribe to our channel. A lot of you watch but are not subscribed. So make sure you're subscribed, and we'll be back later with more news.